What is up, guys? As you guys know, we've been following the Mexico national team throughout the whole year with our partnership that we had with them. And as you guys know, Mexico made it through to the semifinals of CONCACAF's Nations League. Here's a look back at the interview that we did with Christian Lara, our Mex tour stop in Dallas, Texas at the AT&T Stadium. Hope you guys enjoy it. Y arriba, Mexico!
De hecho, I will be in LA like in a couple of days to start my album, and I feel like this is a really like good experience for me before I start my album. Like
Yeah.
some fresh energy and like the vibes. I like it, and yes, I have a new album that I'm gonna start working on. My first ever album, with my label Lumbre Music. So I'm really excited for that. It's gonna be a lot of new stuff coming in.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Agushto podcast. We are here at the AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas for another Mex Tour soccer game. And today we also have a special guest, Christian Lara.
Hey, thank you guys for having me here, bro.
We're super excited that you're here.
Thank
You
you, guys.
know, this as the same, just how Música Mexicana is growing, so is soccer. You know, in 2021, we had that boom with Música Mexicana, and that is when you dropped your first song.
Yes,
So, like,
sir.
how does it feel to be part of like this boom?
Bro, it's insane, bro, how fast the music is growing and like the Mexican music is growing. It's worldwide, bro, and it's amazing the barriers are broke and like atrapó a nueva gente, ¿sabes? Le llegó a nueva gente, a nuevos oídos y eso está bien perro cómo evoluciona la música tan rápido y que sea mexicana, pues te enorgullece, machín.
Yeah, I think it's really badass that being Mexican American is probably like the biggest thing right now, where we're
Yes,
able to
bro.
create and show our work. We're influenced by a lot of old school, also new school things, but I think it just goes to show that there are no barriers. Like whatever you want to create, you could do it.
Hell
And
yeah,
I
bro.
feel like this is what our generation is showing.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to ask you, it was 2021, like those TikTok days, that's when like everyone's trying to listen to music. But what do you think is like that one song that really just took it to another level?
Bro, it wasn't even like a song in general. It was a whole album, bro. Like an album really changed the perspective of how I looked at Mexican music, Because I used to look at Mexican music as like banda,
Yeah, like norteño,
yes,
like that.
but when I listened to like this album que era Eslabón Armado, Tu Veneno Mortal, bro, it changed the perspective of like how I saw Mexican music, and it didn't only make me want to like actually listen to it, but it made me want to create it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like now like people are just like so passionate with music, and then like the same with soccer. Like, why do you think, we are so passionate with like the things we do and the things we like here?
Bro, I feel like us as Mexican, bro, like
We're just another breed, huh?
yeah,
Like,
bro. In
I think-
soccer, bro, you could like I don't know. I feel like it's a sport that the whole game you're like tense, and like us as Mexicans, we like to be like loud and excitement, like nos gusta hacer desmadre, la neta.
What are your earliest memories of soccer, or when did you
Bro,
start playing soccer?
I started playing soccer. The earliest I can remember it was probably when I was like around 8, 7, outside my house, ahí en el callejón.
Oh, and you were born in Mexico, right?
Yeah, I was born in Ciudad Juárez, bro. So
That's fire. And then tell us the story of how you started earlier. You were saying how you would play baseball and now.
oh yeah, well I used to play baseball, bro. I was a shortstop and I got injured and I wanted to still keep playing a sport and I wanted to try soccer out and una vez we were in lunch right here and I was already over here in middle school and I tried being a goalie because I mean I don't know how to kick the ball or play
Yeah.
on the field and I actually liked it, bro. Like in the whole game I was like, oh shit, like it was pretty cool, like it was like intense. I liked it. I liked that it was pretty intense and I don't know, like I like got love for it.
What are your earliest memories of watching Mexican soccer?
Bro, one that I really, really remember, it was the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Bro, that's the earliest memory of like an actual game that I had excitement and I knew what was going on in the game, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because me and my family were watching the game like when Mexico was beating Croatia like 3-1, bro. That shit was
Yeah.
crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was really exciting. You know how they announced where the World Cup was gonna be like I think 8 years? I told my dad, hey, we have to go to at least one game. Like I've never been to a soccer game, like I see like live. Even now that I'm just here, like I could already
Stadium
get
looks
the
insane, huh?
feel the the excitement
No,
for
cuando se
tomorrow.
llena de gente is gonna be like insane. How everybody does the wave, they plan it out. All right, we're gonna do a wave, y boom, todos, and the whole stadium is just like that. I don't know. That shit kind of gets me shocked. Like, how do you even start something like that?
Siento que la etapa de venir a ver un juego de México no tienen que saltársela a nadie. Tan siquiera una vez en su vida tienen que ir a ver
Yep.
un juego.
Have your parents been to a soccer game?
No, me
They
gustaría
haven't?
que
What did
también lo
they say when you told
experimentaran.
them that you were gonna be here?
No, pues que lo disfrutara y que
Damn.
cada momento lo guardara para, pues, recordarlo como un bonito momento.
I mean, what does like soccer mean to like you and like your family? You know, we have like these gatherings where like everyone gets together, you know, watch the game.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, ya juega México and you already know the family has to
Yep.
get together, you know, like carne asada, get together, have fun, enjoy the game together, you know.
It's a good way to gather with the family, you know, make a lot of memories, especially
Exactly.
soccer. I feel like one of the most entertaining sports in the world, and it is a worldwide sport, so I think that's badass.
Yeah, and what would you say is like one of your favorite memories of like the Mexican national team?
Ooh, I think I have a lot, bro. But one that I really, really like is when we beat Germany in 2018 in Russia. I remember I was jumping like the whole sala. It was crazy, bro.
I remember. I think it was like I think it was like a World Cup where I think I was like in middle school and like surprisingly my mom never lets me miss school. Like a car could literally run me over and like she won't let me miss school. But like surprisingly, like she took me out of class like to watch the game. So like that's how like you know like stuff was serious. You know.
This past World Cup, bro, my soccer coach let us stay in his class after lunch to watch the soccer games. Because you know how they were like they were during like
Yeah.
school. He would put the
Yeah.
games on the board and he'll let us stay, bro, and watch the games.
It's cool because like I feel like our parents or our school teachers are able to tell how passionate we are to, you know, support our country and watch these games too. What are some other Mexican soccer players that you really admire or enjoyed watching?
Oh, me gustaba mucho Ochoa. I really got love for how he played after the 2014 World Cup, and I think everybody did.
Yeah.
I mean, he saved us from a lot. Like, GOAT. I think he's a really like iconic player for the history of the Mexican national team now. And also Giovanni Dos Santos, Carlos Vela, Héctor Herrera, and then the recent players right now. Me gusta mucho Santi Jimenez, Chino Huerta, who else? Lozano. You know, the Antuna, there's a lot of like
Damn.
really, really good players.
Damn,
right
it's
now,
dope
but-
to see all these players, and you know, for some people, it's their hero. Like they want to grow up and be professional and play like them. You know,
Yeah,
they study
yeah.
the skills, they study how they dribble, how they pass, and it's dope to see how much passion there is for soccer right now.
And would you say that playing soccer, like, you know, throughout your middle school years, your high school years, helped you with your career? You know, you play soccer and, like, you're in a team, you know? And then, like, you know, you started music and then you have your team, you know, you have, like, the charchetas, you have the requinto, the armonía. Like, how has soccer helped you with music?
It's like the same thing, bro. It's you have to keep a chemistry between your teammates. They're your teammates. They're the ones that are gonna make you win as well, but they're also the ones that are gonna be there when you lose. You know what I mean?
You know how they say, you know, you win together and you lose
You
together.
lose together. Yes,
And then in
sir.
your case, like, is there a lot of pressure for you? I feel like, you know, like, if it was, like, a soccer team, like, you're the captain, you're the singer, you know, make sure, like, everyone's, like, doing their part.
But yeah, they expect some type of leadership from you, obviously, because they know that you're able to do that. You know.
And is
So,
that pressure for you?
yeah, that's a lot of pressure. You know, 'cause you're taking a project in your shoulders,
Your
and
shoulders, yeah.
you have to
Like,
stand up for it.
Como le tienes que dar ánimo, como, oh,
Sí,
like,
claro,
if, you
tienes
know,
que
if
ser
there's a little,
todo.
like,
Ujú.
if there's a little inconvenience, you gotta show them, like, hey, you know, there's gonna be bumps on the way, pero tenemos que echar ganas, you know?
Pero de que se arma, se arma.
Yeah, el que quiere puede, como dicen.
And then you also have, like, you know, your practices, and then you have, like, your performances, which is basically like the game. And then you mentioned to us earlier how you had a show in El Paso, your hometown, like 1,000 people that you put together and
Yeah,
you sold
bro.
it out. How was
Yeah,
that?
it was amazing, bro. El amor que sentí de mi hometown,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. We practiced a lot for it. Obviously, like there was a lot of sacrifices, but we were able to do that, and like you know, like it feels great after like accomplishing that.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things about performing is, like, being able to be coordinated with your team, you know, like
Yes,
when you're
bro.
about to start the song, like, you know how they do the jumping in part?
Yeah.
That's probably the hardest part, no?
I think that's one of the hardest part, but can you talk a little bit about, like, you know, who influenced you? You did say Eslabón Armado, like, who else, or were you like, I want to be like them or similar to them?
Me impactó mucho, como les había dicho, Eslabón Armado, pero ya cuando empecé a escuchar más sobre ese género que estaban empezando era Eslabón Armado, Nata, and Junior, right? Because it was a new style, you know, so what they were doing, it was new to everybody, so everyone was trying to do that.
Why do you think like this style like brought so much fans like to like Mexican music? Because I feel like back then, like, well, you would hear it here in the U.S., but I feel like it was just like for older people,
I feel like we think differently and we have like a different sound. You know what I mean?
like
I
the
feel
new
like it
letra
matches
too.
our vibe of our generation. We liked it. Like we understood that sound. That's why I feel like it
Yeah,
was harder for like older people to like really
adapt.
adapt to it because
Yeah,
it was they were not used to that. You know, we were able to click with it, so
yeah.
I feel like that's why we were able to push it now to
And
how it
then
is.
would you say that lo que necesitaba era like the Mexican Americans, like the apoyo like
Yeah, I
from
mean, at
us?
the end of the day, like even if you're like Mexican American or just Mexican in general, I mean, you're
Yeah.
Mexican, you know, and if you
Yeah.
like that music, it's always gonna be there.
I think it just brought everybody together and we're
See,
all part of this culture that
exactly.
continues to evolve, which I think is super interesting. And I'm interested in finding out like what's next for us, you know, because I think artists are getting younger and younger. You know, you mentioned that you're
Yeah.
19.
That's
You're like, I
crazy.
graduated last year. I was like, what?
Like when I graduated, I was still fucking not doing anything. Nah, just kidding. No, but
He's like, I
congrats
didn't
to
even
you, man.
graduate. Ah, just kidding. And what does it mean to be Mexican American to you?
It's something that you should be really proud of, bro. Like having to learn two languages and being able to speak both languages, like that's something that I'm really proud of. Being able to like live here and like make it like home, you know. But also when you're in Mexico, also feel like home. You know, that's
Yeah.
something really, really special.
I feel like it's so cool too, you know, especially us that were young. Like we learn like from what our parents like did, and then like we get it, and then we could create something like for our own, you know, like Dioro's the DJ, and like he would just focus on like where he was, and then he just branched out, like came to Mexican music, and now with
Yeah,
Mexican music, like we have like electronic sounds, we have like trombones, we have like violins too.
it's
So I
crazy.
think that's like super cool, huh?
I feel like we always find a way to adapt and make it look cool, you know?
Pero siempre tienen la esencia mexicana, ¿sabes?
Yeah, like you could tell, like, oh, estos de Mexico, you know?
Mexico,
The roots
claro.
are never, are they're always there.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why like the name like in the music electro corridos came out, because it wasn't just, it could have just been electronic, but they I remember Dior mentioned how they put electro corridos because it was electronic music, but we still have guitars. And
Sí.
it was like the real guitars, you know? Like it
Well,
was someone in the studio playing the guitars.
you know how people when we're winning or you want to hype up the team, they start singing Cielito Lindo, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See, like it's so much energy, bro. It contains so much energy that it's crazy, you know?
And I think that's what makes our music and our culture special. And something that I wanted to ask you is, like, what do you have coming up for your future projects? You know, you did mention that you're gonna get started in an album.
De hecho, I will be in LA like in a couple of days to start my album, and I feel like this is a really like good experience for me before I start my album, you know, like
Yeah.
some fresh energy and like the vibes. I like it. And yes, I have a new album that I'm gonna start working on, my first ever album with my label, Lumbre Music. So I'm really excited for that. It's gonna be a lot of new stuff coming in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's exciting for you. I got the chance to ask you whether you're gonna do corridos, románticas, and you said that there's not one certain thing that's hitting right now. It's just a mix
It's
of
everything, bro.
everything.
Like todo lo que tenga que ver con música mexicana está pegando, ¿sabes? Eso
Yeah.
está perro. So I can't just say that, oh, I'm only doing corridos, because, I mean, dembow, bélico is hitting right now. Also, like, reggaeton mexicano está pegando ahorita. You know, so it's like, that's what makes it fun making music, you know? So
Yeah, there's no set of rules where you have to follow. It's like, oh, if you want to hit, you gotta make this. If you want to hit, you gotta make this. Maybe
No,
back then, but
yeah,
right
but
now,
now you just gotta make music.
like
you
you
know?
gotta make good
With
music
no
that,
rules.
With
yeah,
no
exactly.
rules.
Where if you have a good melody, people are just gonna be like jamming out to it, you know?
Like, the more that you think out the box now, like, the more people actually, like it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's really interesting.
You know, of course we have like those older people that are like, no, you cannot do this. It's supposed to be like
Yeah.
the armonía de requinto, the tuba, and that's it. Like, don't touch it. But I feel like that's what helped like música mexicana grow a lot. You know, that people just started dressing how they wanted, and now they dress like how like
How they
us
want.
Mexican Americans dress. You know, like
Yeah.
the way we go to school, the way we go to a concert, like that's how they dress as well.
That tiene mucho que ver, as well as like I feel like the human just gets used to something and they don't want to
Yeah,
like know that it's changing, you know? Just like us, like when new players come in to the team, you're like,
Yeah.
no, like what?
like, who is this youngster?
Who is this youngster?
It's like,
Yeah.
si la va a hacer o no la va a hacer.
Yeah, exactly.
Este no es
So,
Giovanni
like-
dos Santos.
It's like,
See, like you don't want to get used to it, but at the end of the day, you end up loving that new player, or like you end up
Yeah.
loving that new like ese nuevo género que ahorita está pegando, ¿sabes?
Damn, that's true.
Todo
I think that's
conecta.
a good example how you said it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, just how like when you throw in like a random instrument to like música mexicana, and like let's just say like Mexican team like adds like a new fresh player, and then everyone's just like, let's see what this guy got to do.
So
And
you
then it's
study him, right?
yeah, and
And
then
you're
from there
like,
it's like, all right, do we really like it? Do we give him a chance? Which of course, you got to give everything a chance
Yeah.
and everyone a
Yeah.
chance.
And then eventually, like la gente aprende quererte,
Exacto.
they get used to on the field, or they get used to a certain type of music, and that's when it's progressively growing, I would say.
You have to, because remember when Peso Pluma started, when Javi started, everyone was like, who is this guy with like the long hair? Like, we don't like the way he sounds. And look at him now, filling up freaking big ass shows.
Yeah, bro. Todo tiene un porqué, ¿sabes? Everything happens because of a reason. If
And
it was meant to happen, it's gonna happen.
what other goals do you have musically besides
Musically,
your album, which I think is gonna be big,
yeah. Well, I want to be able to reach some bigger collabs for me. I want to be able to build my image even more. I want to work on how what I want people to know about me and what I want them to grab from me. You know what I mean? I want to work on that. I want to be able to get to my people. That's what I want to
and
work
I think
on.
it's interesting because I think from this generation of musicos, like we're able to do vlogs, we're able to do TikToks, Instagram, and people are very like accepting of it.
Yes.
Versus like back then, like the marketing was way different. Like
The
you were a
marketing right now is
musico and then
everything.
someone else.
You got to go sell your CD somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's interesting how there's all these different elements that make an artist. Like it's not just
Yes.
music, it's about my social presence, I think.
It has a lot to do with it, like how you are in the cameras, how you are when you're off the cameras, how you dress. Like everything has to do now with an artist. You know what I mean? Everything.
Like kind of taking it back to the games where when Mexico scores, they play a classic song, whether it's like new or old, the people get hyped up.
Like, what's next, Like, will there be like a classic, like a next classic song in a few years? I feel like I feel like that's so hard too, because we talk about like TikTok music, and then like Marca Registrada mentioned like, oh, la música de ahorita es muy desechable. So like, how do we like?
If
not
you
make
think
it
about
like
it,
that?
like who are the people that like actually say, oh, this song is gonna be this song that we're gonna sing at the games? Like who's the one
Yeah.
that makes
Like-
a decision for
Like
that?
what's
you
the
know?
defining point of like it's gonna be here or it's gonna
Or
be
how do we
here?
make it a classic?
How do
song?
you make that an iconic Mexican song for games that it's gonna go on for centuries? You know,
That's
because
crazy.
Cielito Lindo has been going on for forever. As long
Forever.
as that, like, desde que tengo yo memoria, cantan Cielito Lindo en los juegos. You know what I mean? So, how do you, cómo bautizas una canción a que sea un himno para el?
Bro, and think about it, it's so tough. Like, we've had the biggest música mexicana song, Ella Baila Sola, 1 billion streams.
That's crazy,
Like, what do you say? Like, does it compare anywhere to there?
bro. I don't. No
It's
sé.
hard, huh?
It's hard because I mean, the people are la gente es la que
decide.
La que decide. La gente va a subir la canción, la gente va a adoptar esa canción o la gente hace lo que quiera con esa canción, ¿sabes? So,
We're super excited that you came. We really appreciate it. Tomorrow's your first soccer game.
yeah, I'm
So,
super excited for that.
I'm excited
honestly.
for you as well. We're gonna thank God we had like the suite. Shout out to everyone.
Yeah, and like just to remind you guys, the environment of being in a stadium full of like the afición, the Mexican afición is insane. Like the energy and the passion in the stadium is badass.
And here you can
Of
stream all you want without getting in trouble. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd be screaming at the house and be like, hey, relax. Hey, let me be passionate. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Guys, make sure to get your tickets at Somos Locales because you guys do not want to miss out on this experience. Aquí vamos a estar enfiestándonos because Mexico's going to win. Ciao.